let's talk about the Indy 500.
Sure.
So, can you believe that it's been...
Thank you. Yeah, it's been 10 years, yeah.
It's been 10 years
since
you won the Indy 500.
That's it, on fuel. You're gonna coast in.
Alexander Rossi into turn number 4 on fumes. Checkered flag is in the air.
Clutch, clutch it.
Can you believe this? He did it.
You just won the Indy 500, baby!
Oh my God, you guys, did you see this?
Alex, you are the champ. Number 100, baby.
Can you reflect on that and how you have grown since, what has happened since?
My knowledge, love, appreciation, obsession with Indy 500 has only grown every year. I wouldn't say that the passion to win has changed because you're a race car driver, you want to win every race that you compete in. So that hasn't really evolved, but I would say the understanding of there's only so many opportunities you're going to have in racing, but especially the Indy 500, right? To be competitive, to go out there and have a real shot at winning. And so every year that goes by that it doesn't happen, it's like, well, there's another year gone, right? And so it's hard to look past that part of it, but at the same time, I look back on the 10 years and it's like, I'm so fortunate that of those 10 years, like I've had great cars and great teams for all of them. And so I've been in a position every year to like have an opportunity to go win. And so that's equally as cool as it is disappointing, because I look at 2016 and that was probably the least competitive that I was at IMS, and it's like, well, why is that the year that I won, right? Whereas I look at 2017, 18, 19, 2023, and I'm like, man, like those years should have been it. And it wasn't. So it clearly wasn't meant to be, but I'm hoping that I continue to improve enough as a driver, especially at that track, to take the next step needed in order to win another one.
When you look back at that moment and at that point of your career, what did it mean to you to get that win, but also at the biggest race of the season?
For me, what that really did was it solidified the decision that I made to come back to the States. I spent 8 years racing in Europe, living in Europe, chasing a dream of competing in Formula One, which for a very brief period of time came true, but ultimately didn't work out. And so it was never necessarily on my radar to race in IndyCar, but the opportunity and the door opened, and there was no expectation as to what that year was going to be. It was a one-year deal. My car was blank going into the Indy 500. There was no sponsors. And so that event solidified my career ultimately and gave me a new opportunity in the States that I didn't even know existed. And to put that into words as to how fortunate I am and blessed that happened is crazy, because I went from early February of 2016 having a Formula One contract and getting ready to go preseason testing in Barcelona to having nothing, to 10 days later getting a phone call from Michael Andretti, to racing in St. Pete 12 days after that, to 3 months later winning the Indy 500. So that timeline is a crazy thing to look back on as to how I went from like the highest point in my life to the lowest point in my life and back to the highest point in my life.
Yeah, like if someone had told you in 3 months you're going to win this race, you would have said what?
How? Like, how is that impossible?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories that come back to you that really mean something and stick out?
Well, I got Jimmy John's for life. So that was cool. I got this like black metal card.
Amazing.
It's free Jimmy John's forever. So if anyone's a big fan, hit me up. No, I mean, that was such a, it was so unconceivable to me that I could win that race, that like the emotion afterwards and that whole experience was just like surprise. You didn't really believe that any of it happened. And so it's all kind of like, it all happened fast. Not only was it my first Indy 500, like it was the first one I had ever attended, It was my second oval race I'd ever done. I was last for a third of the race because we had problems in pit lane. Ultimately, like, I shouldn't have won that race, which is why it's so crazy to me that that's ultimately the one that I did. Because I look at so many other years, and it's like leading with 2 to go, or leading 50 of the 200 laps, or starting on the front row, or all of these things, and those years weren't the ones. And you look back at 2016, it was like we were an okay car, like qualified 11th. We were an okay car, but it was a new team. We had problems in pit lane. We couldn't get fuel in the car. Went to the back. I mean, ran out of gas in the last lap ultimately, but all of those factors lined up, and that's why it was meant to be.
Twin checkers are out, and the rookie will win the 100th Indianapolis 500-mile race.